As well, the big story that is breaking at this point in time, there is a setback for Nirav Modi. A UK court has rejected his appeal against extradition to India. Our colleague Sanjay Suri has been tracking that, and he joins us now with more. Let's take a look.
Modi's lawyer. And in fact, if you remember, in the court also there were at least, the two psychiatric experts came over and they gave a statement that, there is depression and there are suicidal thoughts also that are coming into his mind. But ultimately, it seems that the court understood that this is minor depression. There could be some sort of suicidal thoughts as well. But ultimately, since his appeal is, he is lost, the only option that is left is that he can file an application in the Supreme Court there, and then that is also going to be very tough because usually the Supreme Court does not entertain applications like this.
Yeah.
But here, after the Westminster Court gave an approval of his extradition, he's losing the battle in the High Court as well. So it seems to be that bringing him to India is not very far off. But at the same time, we all know that, in the case of Vijay Mallya as well, he lost. His application was not entertained in the Supreme Court. He lost in High Court as well. And ultimately, what has happened, there is no official word whether he's on asylum in United Kingdom, on what basis he's staying. So we don't know. So obviously, it's a big victory for the Indian organizations, especially agencies like CBI and ED. But ultimately, if we are not able to get somebody physically back into India, then the victory actually does not matter too much.
Yeah.
So here, let's see if, though he's lost his appeal, whether Indian agencies are able to get him physically from the United Kingdom or not. That is going to be something really interesting to see in days to come.
Sanjay, you spoke about the parallel process of asylum, which is an opaque process, and we don't get to know what exactly is happening, what are the bases, because it's a quasi-political process and also an executive process where the establishment of the day has the final call on these matters. But talking from the point of view of judiciary and the courts, this is the High Court after the Westminster Court. What are the legal options in judiciary that lie for Nirav Modi at this point in time?
Well, in the first instance, as Ashish was pointing out, he will certainly seek to approach the Supreme Court, but that is not a very promising path for him at all. For that, the first step would have to be for the appeals court here to give him permission to appeal. That permission in a case like this is usually denied because the Supreme Court here, unlike the Supreme Court in India, only takes up issues of cases that relate to public policy. This does not appear to be the case here. Then he has the option of applying to the European Court of Human Rights. That certainly is also a process that could gain him some time. Then eventually the case goes back to the Home Secretary, and there would be a further case for him to apply to the Home Secretary, which is to the British government really, that his mental health is not good, that he has health issues, and on those grounds also he will seek to try and block the extradition. And that also we have to consider. All these steps will be considered and could be potentially effective for him if he were to have failed on the parallel track of asylum. If that appeal has been rejected, and the asylum track again is where the Home Office takes a decision, but he can appeal, and that is an appeal process held in camera. If he has lost that case, and then if he loses all these steps in the extradition process, only then can he be physically extradited to India.
All right. Thank you, Sanjay, for getting us all those details. My colleague Ashish Mahershi also tracking that big story. It's a huge order from the UK High Court after the Westminster Court giving a go-ahead for the extradition process. We pointed out the complications that...
Well, that was our colleague Sanjay Suri reporting there. We will get him